let's go, because you know what I came here to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
I'll just put a few disclaimers in, and I'll let you know when the actual debate starts. This isn't about personal feelings or opinions. This is not about morality. This is about real life, whether you like it or not. Morality, principles, yes, they do come into play, but not always in the way that you want them to. Sometimes it's just the lesser of two evils. And with that said, the debate starts. Now, Dillian Whyte was found to have an adverse finding, that's what we know so far, in one of his tests for the Anthony Joshua fight, leading him to be ruled out and replaced by Robert Helenius. More details have to come out. How many tests did he fail? What was the substance, etc., etc. And a lot of people, media, hardcore fans, casual fans, they concentrate on him having to prove his innocence. When in all reality, once you pop positive, adverse finding, either or either, the suspicion never leaves. It sticks. Now, if you're a fan of the fighter, you will defend them and say, no, they didn't take it. And if you're not so fond of the same fighter, you may be impartial, or you may throw shade on the fighter and say, yeah, I believe they were taking something. It's as simple as that. And that goes for the media as well. I hope you listen to the first disclaimer I said, because if you don't, I can't entertain going back and forth with you. I can't. And I'm not going to repeat what I said. But the facts are, in a PED case in boxing, we're dealing with due process, law, and rules. The evidence for and against the accused. So the focus on proving that you're innocent is only as relevant to how much you attach to your moral codes, as opposed to let's just get a resolution and get on with it. I think the most important thing for the fighter is to what? What's the most important thing? The most important thing is to get back in the ring. The most important thing is to get in the good graces of one of the top promoters in the UK or America. The most important thing is to get ranked by the sanctioning bodies, and that's how you get the big money. Proving your innocence, I'm sorry, it's a futile exercise. Conor Benn could have made a 2,000-page dossier and showed everybody who doubted him the dossier, and you'd still be saying he's guilty if that's how you want to see it. There's nothing that can change you. What you need to do is get a resolution and get back in the ring and get back in the rankings and get amongst the big money and the big players. So that might just mean doing your time, stay out of the media so you don't perhaps incriminate yourself more or make yourself even more unpopular to the media and fans and the relevant bodies who could determine whether you fight again or not. That's all what counts. And that's what Tyson Fury did. Tyson Fury didn't prove he was innocent. He took liability, and UCAD said, okay, we can overlook that you missed certain dates you were supposed to come back and this and that, and gave him a backdated ban on the proviso you take accountability or liability for the substances found within you. Conor Benn, was he proven innocent? Well, what do you do with that? Strict liability says the substance is in you, you're guilty. But then you've got grey areas. What about contamination? Too many people embellish. I'm not on Dillian's side either way, but people embellish. Oh, he's been popped 3 times. You see, when you say that, it almost sounds like, yeah, he's been guilty 3 times. No, he was exonerated for contamination in the second one. But that's not really the focus now. The focus now is just getting the license. And if he doesn't get a British license, he'll fight abroad. And it's as simple as that. He'll carry on boxing. Proving he's innocent isn't necessarily going to help the gate get any bigger when he's actually signing pen to paper to fight. Proving he's innocent is subjective amongst media and fans who hate or like him, or who are indifferent, or who are impartial. In the real world, what do you do if you're in a situation in the judicial system? Some people cop out, they plea out, they settle out of court. They didn't prove they was innocent, but they don't want to do the jail time. So what should they do? Should they just, Oh, well, I'm not going to plea out because I want to prove I'm innocent. No. You take 6 months as opposed to how many years or suspended sentence and you get on. And then you get on with your life. That's real life. There's people arguing, oh, Dylan won't be no gatekeeper to nobody, so he's finished. Well, how do you know he won't be a gatekeeper? A gatekeeper's purse, depending on the situation, could be $250,000, maybe $500,000. Who knows? 100 grand? And if he wins against a favoured opponent who's trying to use him as a stepping stone, well, he's going to want more money for a rematch. And the promoters are going to talk to him totally different if he's pulled off a big upset in the industry. It is what it is. It's as simple as that. If the promoters have no use for him, they won't use him. But if they do find a reason to use him, they'll use him. Your moral condemnation has no real effect on the market. The market is about money. It's prize fighting. It's as simple as that. It's down to the promoters. It's down to how much Dylan can convince them that he's still relevant. That's all it's down to from there. It's not in our hands. The only thing that can really shut him out is if they start making blanket bans. All right, you're done for 4 years. Like, I was on Chan's hangout the other day and they were saying Philip Bowes, a British fighter, he took Osterine and was banned for 4 years. I think he'll be applying for his license next year. That's a hard ban. 4 years is a hard ban. Dylan's already done a 2-year ban for the Jack 3D. And yes, a 2-year ban could be detrimental to Dylan. A 4-year ban could see him maybe trying to get back in the ring at 40. That's never really a good look. But what I'm trying to say, it's not a situation that is dependent necessarily on proving innocence. And I'm saying this with the knowledge of looking at the landscape of boxing and comparing it to other sports. It's not like Povetkin has to deal with FIFA. If FIFA give him a 4-year ban, then there's really no way back into the sport if he's banned when he's 36 or near 40. You know, he could go play semi-pro or around the park with his friends or something like that. But professional football is a wrap. Under FIFA, if you test positive for one substance and someone else tests positive for the same substance, you're both going to get the same time. Boxing, no. Philip Bowes, who they were talking about, done a 4-year ban for Osterine. Povetkin tested in December 2016. And I can't find a ban right now. I just don't have the time. But I'm looking on his box rec, right? He fought Duhaupas in December 2016. He was back in the ring in 7 months' time against Andrei Rudenko. I don't know if he done a 6-month ban. He fought again at the end of the year against Christian Hammer. So he didn't do no 4-year ban. Not even 1 year. If he was banned, it was for no less than 6 months. And he's fighting for WBO Intercontinental titles and WBA International titles. The WBA Intercontinental or International titles he had led to him getting a shot with Anthony Joshua as a mandatory. Boxing is a bit of a free-for-all. You know, when you think of territories like Germany, you know, that's where the Klitschko's fought. It's quite an established territory in world boxing. When Erkan Tepe banged out David Price, he didn't do no ban because they have 2 regulatory boards in Germany. One of them banned him and the other didn't. And you can get away with a lot more in boxing. You can get away with so much more. Oscar Valdez is fighting tomorrow. He popped against the Brazilian. He would have been banned in the other states that Top Rank usually hold cards. But they just gave the fight to the Yaqui Tribe Commission. And he didn't do no ban. And it wasn't like it was in middle America with some obscure tin pot promoter. It was Bob Arum who orchestrated that. The WBC, they changed the dosage for Canelo to say he never took anything illegally. Yeah, he took clenbuterol, but by the time they changed the allowed dosage, they're saying he's not guilty of any illegal wrongdoings. That's boxing. It's a free-for-all, literally. Dillian is a self-employed boxer. He's a free agent. Dillian manages other fighters. His brother has a promotional outlet, Black Box Promotions. He puts cards on. What's to say Dillian doesn't put on his own show? Him and Dean. And find one of them streaming apps to charge pay-per-view for the fucking event, which he headlines. Boxing is different from other sports. It always has been. Never say never.
But particularly from a regulatory and governing body level. Look at America. every state is governed by the state athletic commission.
Yeah.
So if you're fighting in New York, the rules are different to Texas, where you were last week, or Nevada or California. Some have testing procedures, some have no testing, some have oxygen ringside, some have no oxygen ringside. I mean, it's just, it really is. I think Wild West is the wrong.
I use that term all the time.
Yeah, but I don't.
Let's say if he was to do that, make a card, him and Dean, Black Box Promotions, and it turns over a big profit. I don't need to tell you the rest. That once you make money, big money, and you can show other businessmen the audits and how you did it and prove it wasn't a fluke. What do you get after that? Investment. It is what it is. Boxing business is just based on entrepreneurism, whether you're a street again or some opportunistic out dude. It is what it is.
Not taking anything away from Boots, but where I am at in my career right now, I didn't fall my ass off to get to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I deserve to do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what nobody say, how anybody feel, or any of that. You know, fuck them.
If you closed your eyes and just heard what Terence Crawford was saying, you could easily have mistaken him for Floyd Mayweather or Canelo. All that A-side talk. And he didn't used to talk like that, but power changes your perspective as a boxer. You know, all of a sudden, he's talking like he's picking and choosing. It was Spence a few years back telling Crawford when he was going to fight him. Yeah, he was talking about he's going to fight Porter first and take this fight. And then you have to come over here. And before that, it was you have to win a belt, dictating terms. But now, Crawford will attempt to make his rival 147-pounders sing to his tune when he's ready. But why is everybody saying Boots? Like somebody in Twitter said, well, what about Stanionis? He stepped aside twice to let Spence take on Ugas, Danny Garcia. I'd have to do the research to see who's lined up next to fight Terence Crawford. I mean, we could have another great fight for Stanionis' interim belt between himself and Jaron Ennis. But it won't happen because they're going to wait around and wait around and, you know, become less relevant. We're taking on welterweights who don't have the stock really to transition them to another stage of popularity, and then they're going to be crying, oh, I can't get a shot against Terence Crawford. It's ridiculous, really. If Crawford doesn't totally clean his hands of 147, let's say he goes up to 154 and takes on Jamel, but he's still got another foot in 147, retain some of the straps, even if they strip him from some of the straps, and Stanionis and Boots fight for some of the vacant straps. What's it really going to mean if you haven't fought Crawford or fought each other? Got to take significant fights. AJ weighing in 250, Helenius 249. So he's actually lighter, 5 pounds lighter than he was for Jermaine Franklin. And he's still a lot heavier than he was for the two Usyk fights, where he came in at 240 first fight and 244 the second one. Helenius, he came in 249 in his fight that he had just the other week. He was 253 for the Wilder fight and 246 for the Karanaki fight and 238 for the first one. Either Helenius took the initiative or he was told to try and rattle Anthony Joshua, because a lot of people theory that you can get in his head like that. And when they were staring at each other out and separated, Helenius still chose to keep his gaze on AJ, and the stare was like, you know, intense. AJ, you know, he looked back and said, either we fight now or we fight tomorrow. And he told Helenius to stay cool. Helenius said he is cool. So heavyweight boxing tomorrow. I would like to see AJ have a third fight with Usyk, but I want to see him come in at 255, 250. And I think that's going to be his weight now, regardless of any critique saying that he's too muscular. Anywhere around 250, 255. He's 33 years of age. Helenius looked in good shape. Eddie did get caught out. Someone put a video together where pre-Wilder Helenius, Eddie kind of talked the fight down. Like, it's not that good a fight. And he's been saying in recent days what a dangerous fight this could be for AJ, and it's a good fight. And yes, it's a contradictory. And yes, the contradictions are laid out. But But he's a promoter, and you know that's what they do. But I haven't really got much more to say about the fight. I believe AJ will win this. It could be just how he wins it, and what can we take from it going into a Wilder fight, post-fight. But we'll see. Helenius looks in good shape. May the best man win.